Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new podcast series, Wonder Wisdom, where we explore how technology in the travel industry is shaping the way we explore the world. So, today's episode is going to be a game changer. Why a game changer? Because we are diving into agentic AI in travel. And it is a topic which is making a lot of waves in the industry, from personalized itineraries to AI powered travel assistants. We are talking about a future where AI doesn't just recommend but actually acts on behalf of travelers. And to unpack this, we have a very special guest with us today, Ishan Chawla, who is the Chief Product Officer, a pioneer in travel tech innovation. So, welcome to the show, Ishan.
Thank you, Jaspreet, for having me. I'm very excited to share how Agentic AI is revolutionizing the travel. In fact, I'm heading to Baku tomorrow, and AI has planned my entire trip from except flight, everything else, from accommodations to experiences. It handled everything.
Nice. So that sounds interesting. And to begin with, we'll start with the basics because people would like to know what agentic AI is. Because, yes, it does sound very sophisticated, but people who don't know, who are new to this term, would you please define that?
In very layman terms, Agentic AI is like having a personal travel assistant who knows you better than you know yourself. They understand your preferences, your budget, your travel style. They can book flights, hotels, and activities tailored just for you, and can even adjust plans in real time if something goes wrong. That is what Agentic AI offers. So basically, Agentic AI is something this ecosystem can take decisions by itself, basis your priorities and needs, and can solve the things in the real time. Yeah. And for my Baku trip, like I just told you, I found a great deal on flights, so I booked them myself. But after that, AI took over. For further trip plan and bookings, I simply told the AI assistant that I wanted to explore the city historical sites, enjoy local cuisine, visit the stunning Heather Center, and wanted to enjoy natural scenic views with my wife and two kids. The AI not only booked me a hotel with a great view of the city, but also arranged for a guided tour of the old town and suggested some of the best local restaurants for traditional Azerbaijani dishes. It also considered kid-friendly options in Gabala, as I told it that I am traveling with my kids, and asked just simple yes/no questions from me like, "Do you want a private tour or guided tour? Do you want to airport taxi or not?" Then it found the best reviewed and cheapest options online. I just approved and it handled the rest. What else you need in this ecosystem?
So, Ishan, I have actually not experienced something similar that you mentioned, but I am actually excited about experiencing something because when this AI thing wasn't even a thing long time back, and I think it's been more than 6 years, if not 10 years, there was a time when a lot of travel planning startups were springing up, and their idea was that, look, the discovery phase or the research phase is broken. There are a lot of these OTAs who have aggregated the supply chain and whatnot. But the initial research phase is broken, and their premise was that they are going to come in and help with the travel planning. Interestingly, they had different ways in which they were trying to do it, but none of them really seemed intuitive enough because what you just described, right? It's more like, oh, these are kind of like thoughts that were running in your head and
Yeah.
you wanted the ability to throw those thoughts at somebody and that somebody does the work. And typically in human interactions, that's how we interact. There is a lot that the other human who you have asked to do something is doing in the back end. But that's the sort of natural conversation or a frictionless experience that we were all expecting when these travel planning startups sprung up. But looks like based on what you just shared of your experience using these AI tools, uh, that is kind of what you experienced.
Yeah. So
Much better.
yeah, I'm 100% with you. These startups, I know multiple, like Travel Triangle and some Pick Your Trail kind of startups. They came with the ecosystem, but this whatever they were recommending, all of the rules, all of the ecosystem were defined by humans only. They were just picking up the data. They were using NLP to throw in a very decent natural English and were pushing data to the end user. Versus when you talk about these agentic AI agents in real time, these agents are able to pick up the data in real time from different portals. They are not just using the APIs, they are browsing the text-based data also, like hotel reviews, updates about guides, flight details, when flight will land, when flight will take off again, all that stuff. So this is how it is picking up data in real time, which earlier startups were not able to do. Now because of LLM models and all, that life is much more easier. If you want to listen, I can give you a quick brief about how this overall architecture works. Okay.
Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
yeah, especially for those who understand ChatGPT or Gemini. As a user, you go to ChatGPT or Gemini, you assign them a task. Okay, help me out with preparing a itinerary for Baku trip. It will gonna give you the itinerary. Then you pick up small tasks. You are again ask it, can you help me out with the reviews of this particular hotel, all that stuff. So this is like you're giving task to one agent versus how agentic AI works is there is a manager, and to this manager you will assign a task. I want to go to Baku with two kids. This is my budget. These are my preferences. That's it. Now this manager will break down your request into multiple tasks, and into multiple tasks. Then this manager will assign these tasks to multiple agents. Just to give you one example, this manager will break down task, and there will be five different agents. Agent one will be like, this agent will gonna create the itinerary for you. Second agent will be the flight finder agent. This agent will find the best flights for you. Then comes a hotel recommender agent. This the agent will recommend the best hotels for you. Then there will be another agent who will plan activities for you. Then there will be one agent who will optimize budget for you. Is it fitting in your budget and all? Then all of these things will get collected, and these will go to the manager, and manager will review it and finally pushes it to you. Doesn't it sounds very human thing? And in reality, these are the six agents, one manager and then five other agents. This is how agentic AI works, and this is how this ecosystem works. This is exactly replicating in different individual humans who have specialized knowledge about flights, hotels, activity, itinerary, and collating all of these into one ecosystem.
Got it. So, to me, it seems like another interface, if you will. Uh, but the challenge that I've noticed, not necessarily with this sort of approach, but in general, like say for example, if I go to a OTA and I search for hotels or flights, because they are pulling the information from multiple sources, the response time is sometimes a concern. Sometimes the response is pretty quick. Sometimes it is not, depending on what you are searching. So I'm assuming that in this model that you described, these individual agents, they are still getting the information from somewhere. And
Correct.
whatever those data sources are, if those data sources take time, let's say 10 seconds or 15 seconds or to give them results, the user is still sitting there waiting for responses. So in this whole ecosystem, can you help us understand where are the bottlenecks, if you will, to create a more magical and a more instant experience?
Coming to the point which you just said in terms of response time, that is also again being solved using AI. You hit Google for flights, it will give you results in within 1 or 2 seconds. You are from B2B world, you understand that. You go to any B2B portal, it will gonna take 30 seconds to 1 minute because their caching role is very small. Versus the moment you go to Google where there are infinite searches happening, Google flights, it's very quick. That is where they leverage AI to decide how caching will gonna work. If you are booking out for a flight which will fly after 2 hours, after 4 hours from now or today, it may skip the caching. If you are searching for a flight which will fly after a week, it will gonna pick up from a cache data of last maybe 15 minutes. And it knows for this particular route how much is the traffic coming in, what is the probability of caching being stale. This there they use AI to give results in super quick manner. Now coming to your point, in are there any issues in terms of can there be any other issues kind of thing? Yes, these LLM models are evolving. Like if you're gonna pick up $14 billion DeepSeek model, it may take 2 to 3 seconds to come back with the response. Versus if you are using $7 billion, sorry, 7 billion, even this DeepSeek model. Yeah. And in 7 billion model, this response will be much more faster, but there is a possibility of that answers are not correct. So this is a play, and it will gonna take some time to land to a level where it will become very, very seamless. But today it's this space has started. Yeah. If anyone wants to be in the race, they have to start right now.
So is Ishan, since both of you and I are currently working in the B2B space, and as you touched on, in the B2B world, the response times are usually much longer, and there are so many different reasons behind it because we have to source data from so many different sources. Not every source is very responsive. We have a whole bunch of rules that we have to apply behind the scenes, blah, 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 right? So, but on one hand we have this reality, but on the other hand we have the reality that you described. So as a traveler, you didn't care whether you went to a travel agent or you went to a OTA or you actually asked ChatGPT to put together your itinerary. uh, as a traveler you didn't care. So what implication does this advent of AI, and specifically this agentic AI mean for B2B businesses? And maybe you can quickly touch on where the B2B businesses are lagging behind, and any thoughts on how they can catch up.
And definitely, that's a very, very interesting question. You touched the nerve, yeah. Talking about B2B, the biggest problem when it comes to for any B2B ecosystem to scale is the moment they try to scale, their ops team size becomes massive. The moment you scale, you go from X to 2X, your ops becomes Y to 2.5Y. And ops is a challenge. So and B2C ecosystem is much, much more easier than B2B ecosystem when it comes to flight use cases. Something like I booked a flight for 5 people now, and in B2B world, I'm going the to the B2B team and asking them now out of 5 people, one person is not traveling. And out of one person is not traveling, and can you can you do the partial cancellation of the ticket? Or at the last moment, one person didn't flown, and can you return me the taxes of that particular ticket? Okay, these are very, very complex use cases which usually don't exist in the B2B B2C world, but these exist in the B2B world. And let's say you want to check out for a refund for a particular case. In B2C, MMT has defined, okay, for this particular use case, refund charges are 3,500. But in reality, in B2B world, there can be a number of use cases where travel agent understand the technicalities, and it goes and it calls that B2B company, okay, help me out with the recent refund charges, because this guy understand the ecosystem. Now this ops guy go and sit on the system, check into its own system, then go to airline website, check the refund status there, refund amount there, it comes back to this ecosystem, and tell the travel agent. This whole exercise takes 20 to 30 minutes. Now this is where agentic AI will gonna come into pitch. I have built a bot myself in my local system though. You call the B2B customer care, it will listen to your PNR number, it will listen to your query, it will check your system, it will go to airline system, do the login, check out the everything, check out the refund price, and it will come back and tell the agent on the call itself, okay, this is the refund amount, should I proceed or not? Now this whole exercise will gonna take 1 or 2 minutes versus 20 to 30 minutes. That is one. Second, this ops cost is a very, very pain in when it comes to B2B. That is where this agentic AI can be game changer. You understand margins in B2B. These are very, very thin, like
Yeah.
between one point between 1 and 1.5% only. If I talk about net margins, that is where this ecosystem can help in scaling them fast, saving their cost a lot. Yeah. So this is how it can be a very game changer in B2B. So basically, automating ops team, automating call center is a very, very big thing in B2B.
I wanted to respond to what Ishan said, because that is a very nuanced answer. Uh, if somebody has not lived in the B2B world, they will probably not appreciate it as much. Uh, because the primary distinction between B2B and B2C is really that when you are going to a B2B company as a traveler, you have very different expectations. And Ishan touched on some of those. And the travel agent is expected to take care of all of these nuances. And if you think about it, it's kind of like a lot of long tail use cases, which B2C companies don't necessarily cater for, but the B2B uh, have to focus on. But then
Correct.
there is also this expectation from the traveler that, oh, you know what, for some of these things, I could get these things quicker, faster, better from a OTA. Why are you taking so much time? Blah, blah, blah. Uh,
Correct.
so there is that expectation. Uh, but again, not sure if the same experience of B2C can be provided in B2B upfront when you are in the sales step. But a lot of these operational things that Ishan, you touched on in terms of scalability, yeah, there is definitely a lot of room where AI can come in and help scale uh, while not scaling the cost at the same time.
Correct. Correct. So just to add one more point, scraping is a very regular use case in B2B. Scraping website to get the data, to get the, let's say, flight status and all. This scrap for to write down code for one website scraping, earlier developer used to write code. Then let's say tomorrow that airline will change few elements on the portal and scraping will stop working. Versus today, you just line one line of English and it will do things on the fly. It's there into my system. I can pick up any content from any portal with just one line of English. Doesn't matter. I don't have to tell where is the button, where is the input box, where is the drop down, nothing. I just have to write like find me the cheapest flight between this on this date from in Delhi to Mumbai flight on this particular date, and check it on MMT, Indigo, and compare the best price and book that one. It can do easily. No scraping, no teaching, nothing. It's very simple now.
Yeah, I remember those times when scraping was needed for some of the use cases, and it was a pain.
Yeah, simple use case. Yeah, Indigo, Indigo doesn't provide web check-in. There's no other way out than scraping. Simple. When I'm saying Indigo doesn't provide web check-in, I'm sorry, yeah, it was more on B2B terms. Indigo doesn't provide web check-in APIs. So you have to go on their portal, and when an agent is coming up, how you gonna do? If you want to show it on your portal, there's only scraping is possible, is the way out.
Okay, so like we talked a lot on B2C and B2B segments in this travel industry, but yes, now we'll be moving on to something wherein we will talk about ethical considerations in agentic AI. So, Ishan, if you can throw some light on what are the challenges where agentic AI, is not helping the way it should. I mean, I'm sure there would be some data privacy issues or user trust would be the crucial thing to be considered. So, can you share more about the challenges that we are facing when it comes to agentic AI?
Yep. Broadly, Uh, one is like, one of the biggest challenges which I see is, what if AI systems are fair and unbiased? Imagine if an AI system consistently recommend more expensive options based on traveler's profile. That would be very unfair and unethical. This can be one of the challenges. Another challenge can be transparency. Travelers need to understand how AI makes decisions. Transparency is the key. Just like Google Maps shows the route before you drive, AI should show why it picked up a particular flight, hotel, or experience. It cannot be blindfolded. Yeah. So when I use Agentic AI for my barcode trip, it explained why it chose particular certain activities over others based on my travel preferences and current interests. So these are the key challenges which I see. Other other thing is like, as you're talking about challenges, this is a similar situation where Tesla cars comes into play. If someone is going in a Tesla car and an accident happens, whose fault is it? It's a
Yeah.
manufacturer fault or just another unfortunate mistake by AI. In a similar way out, if you're booking a travel using AI and something went wrong, whose responsibility it is? It's the travel company AI developer, or it's just a bad luck? The truth is, AI today only reads what is available, and a lot what is available over the internet, and a lot of online travel data is unverified. Reviews can be totally fake. It happened with me only in this trip. Hotel ratings can be very manipulated, and recommendations can be biased. That means AI can make mistakes. Sometimes booking a disappointing hotel or suggesting a restaurant, that's all hype but no substance. That can be the case. And again, the solution which I see here is it has to be human AI collaboration. Just like Tesla requires drivers to stay alert, travel AI should allow users to review and approve major bookings. AI should assist, not blindly decide. And companies need clear refund policies in case something goes wrong.
And one other thing that I would add is it's the same problem with social media. So if you see with social media, whatever you watch, it will keep giving you more of the same thing. So there is this algorithm induced bias which continues to basically divide. So uh, what I see is that people are relying a lot on AI and all the things that Ishan you mentioned, that there is a need for transparency and whatnot. But let's assume that right now a lot of these recommendations and a lot of these things are very opaque. Uh, so it is very possible that the AI could actually steer people down a completely separate biased path versus something that is a little bit more like inclusive. So and again, it all depends on the kind of questions that you ask, right? If you ask questions which are very broad, say for an example, can you recommend me places where I can go with my family and for 7 days as an example, and I've got 2 kids as an example, right? There could be n number of places which are equally good, but because AI knows about your financial status, your previous trips, and whatnot, it may be uh, there may be an element of bias where it's like, oh, this guy has a lot of money, so he always wants to go to upscale places, when that may not really be the case. You may enjoy something which is either the same or even much better at a lower price point, but AI probably will route you on its own biased path.
Correct, correct. If we will, yeah. If you go to e-commerce portals, like I've worked on these algorithms for roughly around 8 years in my career, like recommendations. The moment you land on any product page on Myntra or Amazon or Flipkart, whole idea is to upsell. You are trying to buy jeans of 2,000 rupees, let's make it to 2,500. The moment you land on a search results page, whole idea is to upsell, to show the products which where there is a probability of conversion is very very high, and where can we increase your ticket size from, if I compare it with your past purchase. That is the whole idea. Yeah, and this is very unbiased sometimes, but I believe it will take another 2 to 3 years for governments to come up with some of the regulations, and but in the long run I see it going towards creating a very very transparent ecosystem, and which will be very very helpful for individuals.
So now I want to ask you something interesting. Okay. So when we started the conversation, you talked about how recently you planned almost your entire trip using AI. So can you share any personal anecdote when any AI tool that you used solved something so brilliantly that you were not expecting it? Or if you have an example where it failed miserably. So it solved it, but it was hilarious how it failed.
Yeah. While searching for this itinerary for myself on this barcode trip itself, I had I knew about very limited things which I was thinking of doing in Baku and all, where I give it some of the examples. When and I asked it to create an itinerary for me. When this AI came up with the answer, is it picked up a lot of similar things which I didn't know that okay these things exist in Azerbaijan or Baku and which I could which I can go and visit. So if I have let's say if I wouldn't referred this overall AI ecosystem, I went to Baku, I would have I will gonna visit like some of the very limited places, then I'll come back. Versus now my list is so long. Okay, these are the new places which I can visit. Otherwise, I would have missed all of those places. That is where it did an amazing job. And then the moment you try to overpower it, overguide it, it it is like nothing is more bad than AI. The moment you go, okay, now change it to this. Can you add this? Can you add this? Can you add this? Result is super bad. That's a problem. It's a hallucination problem which is there with all of these AI tools as in today. But again, it will get also get resolved. This is one of the reason where Chat GPT or Gemini fails versus Agentic AI works. Like I told you, there's a manager and there's a guy. There's a not guy. There's an agent, and purpose of this agent is just to get the best flights. He is best in finding out flights. Other agent is best in finding out hotels. If you give these two tasks to one agent, it may kill the purpose. That is where agentic AI and this whole architecture comes into play.
So right now the AI is like my way or the highway. You
Yeah,
take
right
what
now,
I'm giving you.
yeah, over, don't push over info into the ecosystem. It will be very bad.
Okay. So interesting. So Ishan, if you could design the perfect agentic AI travel companion, so what feature would be absolutely essential if you can share that?
What I believe is the essential thing is but it will gonna take another 3 4 years that I am sure sure of. I want to build empathy in AI.
Okay.
Today we are talking about, which is not, I haven't seen it in the real world as in today. But we are talking about, let's say you're going on a trip and there's a land, let's say you're going to Manali in India and there's a landslide in on the way. Your AI will know and the AI will book a hotel before that landslide for you. That is one of the use case. Now let's say you landed into, now let's pick up another use case. You landed into Manali today and from your voice you feel exhausted. It will try to change your day one of travel. It will try to keep it light, to keep you relaxed. And from your voice, let's say you look tensed. It will try to book a restaurant where voices, which is not much crowded and it's a quiet cafe maybe. So that is where empathy will come into the picture, and then only humans will start. So that will be a time when human will start in treating AI ecosystem almost similar to the regular human beings. Without empathy, it will always be like robots without emotions. Empathy is the key, and it will gonna come for sure in another 3 to 4 years. You will, and there are some of the experiments. One of the some of the companies, I guess one is Hume.ai. They are working on uh, creating voice with emotions. Like if someone is angry, how it will gonna speak. If you are angry, if you are loud, if you are low, it will gonna tell you you are not feeling well from your voice only. So these kind of solutions will gonna come, and these all of these ecosystem will get injected into the AI systems, and basis that so I can see it like becoming a replica of human beings.
Mhm. Wonderful. And yes, you seem to answer my next question already, Ishan, that this would be the future of agentic AI in travel, isn't it? So yeah, we will be moving on to the very last closing section. One piece of advice, Ishan, that you would like to give to travel companies who are looking to integrate AI into their platforms.
There are my answer is focus on delight, not just automation. AI should enhance travel, making it seamless and magical. The best AI platforms will anticipate needs, surprise users, and create unforgettable experiences. Start with small, manageable use cases and gradually scale up as you learn and refine your approach. If you wait too long, you will miss the bus. Act fast and embrace AI now. Don't try to automate everything at once. Yeah, that's it.
Mhm. Powerful advice, Ishan. So, um, such an insightful discussion today. Ishan, thank you so much for joining us today. And to all our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and do share it with your fellow travel tech enthusiasts as well. And until next time, happy travels. Thank you, Ishan. Thank you, Rohit.